Hello, everybody. It's Katharina from the BLOCKTALES podcast. And with me today, I have Zoe Faircloth. Zoe, I'm
Hey.
super happy that you're here today. Maybe introduce yourself shortly.
Sure. So I'm Zoe. I live in Berlin, but I'm originally from London, so I moved to Berlin about 5 years ago. I've been in the crypto space consistently for about 5 years now, so a bit of an OG in the sense that when I first joined, it was all about Bitcoin, and now we have so much more to talk about. So I am currently a co-founder of Crypto Girls Club, one of the largest women in Web3 communities in Berlin. And I also work for a centralized exchange based in Switzerland. So that's a little bit of my story. I don't think I'm put on this planet to discuss crypto, but it definitely seems that way sometimes because I'm certainly obsessed with it. And yeah, anything to do with Web3 and making crypto accessible to everyone. I think onboarding the next millions to crypto is definitely a goal for me. So.
Amazing. And let's come back to your stand on community and crypto later. But first, let's start with our quick question. So how would you explain your everyday Web3 life to your grandma? What are you doing?
To my grandma. Okay. I mean, I should actually practice this because it's Christmas, so I'm seeing her in a few hours. Um, Grandma's, yeah, she's 99 years old, so it's definitely a different age category. And I would say that I work with this sort of new digital currency. I enable people. You don't want to say Bitcoin because it instantly scares people away. They're like, oh, okay, I've read too much about this. There's a lot of fun out there. So yeah, I work for an exchange which enables you to buy this new digital currency, enabling people to essentially buy and trade using this new tech, which is decentralized, meaning they're not regulated by a financial authority like government or a central bank. And yeah, you can do there's many use cases for these currencies, such as faster transactions. And yeah, it's based all on this trusted system. So that's what I do in my day job. I'm a marketer by trade, and I work for crypto exchanges to make the process of having your first Bitcoin very, very easy. But also, yeah, I'm very interested in the community and in promoting diversity in this new currency space, as we would say. Say Bitcoin without saying Bitcoin, basically. I think that's how you explain it to a grandma.
Yeah, I feel you. Saying you are trying to work in the diversity of the ecosystem, but you are actually working for a crypto girls club. So for all these out there who don't know about crypto girls club, how does this foster diversity if you are actually just for girls?
Oh, good question. So like with our values are really like we don't want to divide. We don't want to have this, I mean, contrary to the title of Crypto Girls Club, we actually let everyone in. So we're like all genders welcome. And it's really, really important to have this because, that men are allies. And we don't want to have this situation where it's sort of like boys on the left, girls on the right. Like that's not how crypto should work. And definitely, I definitely didn't like those school discos growing up, and I don't want to like reenact that in my late 20s. But yeah, we definitely incorporate this inclusive language, which is basically for everyone. But we have noticed that women thrive in a safe space, and this has nothing to do with gendered segregation. This is all about making sure that people have the best chance in crypto as possibly like they can. And I think making connections in crypto girls clubs, which are more intimate or more on a personal level, where you can just if you have a question, you're not afraid to enter this big realm of blockchain and be completely overpowered, because there is so much information out there that Crypto Girls Club is designed or wants to just bring it back a bit and make people feel comfortable. And I think comfort and safety is really, really important. And I think that's the key to diversity, making sure that it's it's a fairer place without this great split.
Yeah, and on that one, I do agree. We started this podcast, we started BLOCKTALES, and we were thinking, okay, Zara and me, we are both women. Should we do it women only? And we decided against it, right? So this one is women focused, yes, and we want to give the space to women with extraordinary stories. But there's also men in the ecosystem who are just having super interesting stories, and why shouldn't we listen to them also? So we are actually mixing it up too, as you are. So I think this is super nice, even though the title might be a little misleading.
I mean,
um,
so the title of Crypto Girls Club, I get a lot of questions because they're like, "Well, I'm a woman," and I'm like, the whole concept of Crypto Girls Club is that predominantly or historically, crypto has been a bit of a boys' club. So we're shifting the status quo, and it's sort of like a play on words. Like it's a Crypto Girls Club, not a Crypto Boys Club. Like we need to foster this inclusiveness throughout crypto, and essentially, we shouldn't exist in 5 years' time because it's so natural that you walk into a crypto event and it's exactly 50% men, women, non-binary. So like, yeah, this is where I see it.
I think that's a very interesting approach to say, okay, we're here because it's needed. But or for yourself, you say, I'm not building this to have it forever, but more or less to be unnecessary in the future, because then it's just not the problem anymore. I think this is a nice way of thought. But um, like the people today, how they get in, probably have seen a lot of data about Bitcoin and crypto and everything in the media. But I saw that you studied history. So how did you get from history to blockchain, Bitcoin, crypto, whatever it was back then? So what was it that made you get there? What catched your attention?
I actually get this question quite a lot. I feel like in Germany, it is like you study what you do. Whereas I studied in the UK and it's sort of like, oh, you're 18, you're very impressionable, you wanna study what you're interested in. But I do think that like history gives you that amazing foundation for exploring what's, essentially what's wrong with the past and fixing it. And that's exactly what kind of crypto or Bitcoin does. It solves a problem that has, Bitcoin was born out of a recession from the 2008 financial crisis. It was solving a problem from the central banks. So I think I always look at things from a very like problem solution orientated perspective. And history gave me that like great knowledge and that great foundation. But yeah, I guess in terms of like career development, my career hasn't been so. I think in Web3 especially, you don't have to have a direct path of being like, okay, I'm going to study economics, and yeah, it's all about what you can give to this economy and what skills you can learn along the way. So I'm constantly as a co-founder actually like almost doing everything which is against my skill set, but I'm also learning against the way, and because the technology is so new, it's always persistently changing, so that what you're reading from what you're reading changes to what you're doing changes. And I think that's why I love working in crypto as well, because it's so fast paced and exciting. So yeah.
It's actually what is scaring many people, right? What you just said, that you love it. It's fast. It's innovative. It's creative. That's what scares a lot of people out there, I think, because I love it too, and I love like not getting stuck in all the same tasks forever. Like creating something new, building companies. There's always something that you did not know before. Otherwise, you would be basically Wikipedia, maybe. So that's something I think also people in Web3 have in common, that they love doing new things and are open minded to learn. So if you're not up to learning, then you will probably just lose it. You will not be successful in Web3.
I think successful, like yes, like you obviously. I think we all have this sort of like wired brain where even if we're on crypto Twitter, it's like, oh my god, what's happening now? And it's this instant dopamine. Like I don't know, I'm following. Obviously, everyone is following the FTX scandal, and I feel like every day I'm just like searching for like that new information, and I feel like you do need this hunger to be in the industry, but in order to like even thrive or even like just be around in Web3, I don't think that's needed. And basically, and I think it does scare a lot of people because they do see things changing all the time. Maybe, oh, okay, one exchange is like, okay, centralization. Now it's a bad word. Before it used to be the easiest way to get into crypto. So it's always fluctuating, and I can see that's like super super scary for people. But I think for me, it was also scary for me when I started a few years ago because I was just used to Bitcoin, and now there's just like you open you open Discord, and it's like, whoa, I'm part of so many projects. And I think what is really really important is that you find something that you're passionate in, and from there it snowballs. So like, for example, I'm into gaming, and I like recently got into NFT gaming. And now for me, it's sort of like I don't even think about the technology or the chaos behind it. I'm just doing it because it's my passion. And I think when people find their passion in Web3, it's a lot easier, for them to just ignore the chaos and the changes around them.
So what's your kind of gaming?
Should I shill the project here?
Just just tell us like what's the kind of game that you would like to play? Is it more card game based or ego shooter or what is it?
So I started off with, it's probably why a lot of gamers are actually into crypto and blockchain. Like I started with MMOs, so massive multiplayer online gaming. And yeah, I actually, this is like super super nerdy. I actually had a guild there. So when I was, 13 years old, I had a treasury, for example, and we had this guild hall where we would put money into this treasury and distribute it. And I think this was like why I think that DAOs, or the concept of DAOs, are actually not as scary, or like I'm just so used to it from my history in gaming, where I had this like autonomy, or this community already. So yeah, I do see a lot of similarities.
Sounds amazing and really rare. Like a young girl back then playing so much that you're actually in a guild and that you're so into this. But I love
Yeah.
it. For me, it was more like games where you build like an economy of like over the time, and I was like,
Which ones were your favorite? I also like that too, like, having something to like to prove, or something like you can, over time it evolves, and yeah.
so actually, I'm still a big fan of Anno. I play this a lot. I love it. I love building up this whole economy over several continents with trading routes and everything. And there's such an amazing statistics menu in there. I just love checking if everything is in.
I've never heard of it, so maybe I need to check it out. I'm always I'm always on the hunt for new games. Is it like an old one?
Well, there have been several. Like the newest one is just got the new DLC, I think. But there have been old ones, obviously, like in the late 2000s.
I think like a lot of, for if you, for example, there's a lot of Age of Empires like that are strategical, and it does build or develop your critical thinking from a very young age. So I think there is a correlation between like liking video games and the technology and the strategic behind it, and this crypto and Web3 environment. It almost sometimes feels like a game, especially when I'm buying into like NFT projects, and checking out the price of altcoins, for example. Like it does give me this like rush of like, oh, okay, there's a new project out there, and I want to do my own research and find out as much as possible. And from there, it does have a strong correlation.
I mean, it's super, super important that you actually do this. And it also proves a little bit that you have been around for some time because I guess you also did the mistake to not do your own research in the beginning. Um, did you did you really do mistakes in the beginning?
I mean, of course. I mean, I didn't actually lose everything like apparently some people do with FTX. So I was always a little bit careless with private keys. So in the beginning, oh, by the way, self custody is very very important. And yeah, I think like owning your private keys, but I realized the importance of having a hardware wallet very early on, mainly because I'm pretty clumsy. So I wouldn't say I lost too much in the sense of, it was very early on. But yeah, I think learning how to properly manage custody and take care of your own keys. It's also an important step up, because if you think about it, you've always had this safety net. Like with my bank account, I know that if something happens, well, in England, for example, like if there's fraud, then I'll get my money back. And there's these lots of things that is like a safety net. And then when you take that jump into crypto and you no longer have this safety net, it's you, like you have these keys. It's your duty, or like moral duty, to upstand all the responsibilities that come with owning your private keys. That is also a big step up, and I think that's why Crypto Girls Club, we want to next year do more educational events on like what does self custody mean, and why is it so like how to make the most of it. Saying that, I do work for a centralized exchange, and I do understand that although they don't have a great reputation right now, there are actually players in the space that are, for example, segregating customer funds and playing by the rule book because they're held to these strict regulations. And I think if you choose if you feel like self custody is too much, or is just because it is a lot of responsibility, like to have these 12 words on a piece of paper, then choosing the right exchange which doesn't mess with your money is also something that we want to like. People should have the what's the word? People should have the choice but it should be like informed decisions. And that's why Crypto Girls Club, I think, next year we're definitely going to help women and others like make the right decisions in their investing career. So,
But like, how would you say to find out which one is a exchange that you can trust? I mean, the exchanges that get down, we also thought we could trust them.
I would say, like looking at the regulation, or like where they're like, for example, I wouldn't put my money in a regulated entity from the Bahamas, and just things like that. Like you pick up on things, which probably with FTX, yeah, okay, it's was one of the biggest players in the market. Like, why would you not trust them? And then you sort of do a little bit more research, and you say, okay, if this was a bank account, would I be safe with okay with putting my money into something like this? So I think doing a little bit more research, and making sure that I mean, I think the topic for 2023 is going to be like regulation. Obviously, something has to change, and it's going to be a really really pressing and more important topic, because I feel like even with if you saw the the Bundestag debated in the SEC, it's going to be under a microscope. So I feel like although okay, I could say do your own research, I feel like because of what happened with FDX and Luna Terra, there's going to be definitely more like cross examination so that it doesn't happen again. So I feel like this might be a positive outlook for the industry, even though it feels like a step back right now.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's super important that we strengthen the community. I think Web3 is the industry that has more focus on community than any other industry before. Also because it's possible now. Like we have more technology that enables community than ever before. Even though if we are in different locations, like we are not in the same city right now, and still we can talk. I think this is changing a lot in terms of community, and I think community is also super important to verify if there is a project that we can trust or not. Because if no one ever knew about, I don't know, the founder or the person behind the idea, I think except for Satoshi Nakamoto, no one will trust it. Probably somehow we all trust him, her, them. We don't know. It's a pseudonym, but still, for every other project, I think faces and actual people who say yes, this is my project and I believe in this. That's super important. Um, so 2023 community, what's going to be different? Like today we have lots of meetups because it's already possible, also because the last couple of years we were not able to do this. We have online events, we have podcasts. So what's going to change? What might be new? Do you have any ideas on this?
Yeah,
The role?
I'm seeing a little bit from just, we're doing a bit of research into what we should do for next year, and looking at the, well, we don't do roadmaps, we just do fun, as that's the value proposition of Crypto Girls Club. But no, we are looking into, I think, real utility. Obviously, with the bear market, we can talk about this whole, like, building in a bear market. Like, it's been a year now. We need to look into, okay, the projects that you saw in the bull run have sort of washed away, or the projects that didn't provide real value and utility, they've gone silent. And so the communities, like I said, I was part of like many, many discords. The communities for next year, they, if they're already strong now, and at the end of the year you can see the channels and the communities that are still thriving, if they're already strong now, there's a good chance for next year they're gonna come back stronger. But there is a lot of quietness in the discords and the communities right now. So for next year, it will be about utility, and I say utility as in, like, from Crypto Girls Club, we want to do an NFT collection, but instead of just having a profile picture or, a one-off hype, we want to add purpose for the community. We're gonna partner up with, for example, event hubs in Berlin and Lisbon, and offer access to these event hubs or co-working spaces through this NFT. So we're going to funnel more utility via the community, and connect that to in-person events. I think in-person events, we definitely saw in the last 6 months, because my schedule was really, really crazy, that they are super, super back. And like you said, COVID happened after 2 years. Everyone was kind of like thriving, and, like, well, not thriving. They were missing that in-person and human connection. And it's just, I feel like it's going to get, even as people get more excited for, I mean, we're in the middle of a recession, or an upcoming recession. I think as people get more excited and more projects start emerging from this, like, building in a bear market phase, maybe there will be more chances for this human interaction, and we're definitely going to see more cooler events. I noticed it, and I went to Breakpoint in Lisbon, and I just noticed this whole, like, complete vibe, even in the midst of, it was like right when FTX happened and Solana price tanked like 50%, but people were still like, "Yay, crypto!" And this was really cool to see as well. So
I think, yeah. I think also it's like it's super important, and it's, of course, it was bad for the market, it was bad for the ecosystem, but to some extent it's also a good thing that all this happened, because now we are rid of some fraudsters, and we also are more aware of doing our own research, which is super important. And all these projects which were not really into it and which were just trying to get rich fast, they are out now, out of the ecosystem, out of the industry. And I think this is good, because this opens up the space for new ones to build, and for those who are serious about it, and those who want to really bring some value to the people and to the community. And I see so many yeah, initiatives now that try to build something new, and that build new ideas, new products, new communities. And I think it's really fun. For me, it's really fun seeing, oh, there's something new popping up, and here's something new, and oh, there's a new project. And it's not always about monetization or anything. It's just about, oh, we are all interested in this topic, so let's just meet, and let's just talk, and let's just build something. And that's something I really love about working in the ecosystem.
yeah, it sort of took away this pressure. So I think during the ball there was a lot of, like, inflated expectations and all these projects that were just like completely killing it. So it was like the little people, the people that wanted to get in, were like, okay, like, how do I start this? So it is a time to reflect. I think after a year on, this narrative of, oh, it's fine, it's a bear market, just build. I think we can just reflect back and say, okay, like, how did we build, and what projects are coming out at this time? So we're going to start seeing more projects that have meaningfulness and some purpose. And the thing is, with Crypto Girls Club, we actually we got most of our engagement, and we actually developed the most during this bear. So we knew that our project was worth holding on to, and worth like it yeah it just snowballed during a bear, and that's very good to see.
Yes, it's amazing to see. Also, people who are behind this and want to build this. Um, Talking about doing your own research, so let's come to our quick final questions, because I think we are almost good with the time. So, what is a topic that you would like to know more about but don't know yet, and why don't you know more yet?
Oh my gosh, yes. I didn't understand how people could be chief metaverse officers. And I've been actually doing so much research, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be a chief metaverse officer, not because it has like this awesome title, which I could go around on business cards that would look like really sick. I just think that like when people talk about the metaverse, it is sort of like what are we talking about here? Like, are we talking about when I was playing Minecraft? Is that the metaverse? Are we talking about VR headsets? Are we talking about Web2 companies creating NFTs in this like little world where you can run around on an avatar with no legs? Like, what are we talking? I think like it is something that I definitely want to explore, and I feel like I'm still, even though I'm a gamer and I actually have lots of experience in the metaverse, I still feel like it's, I know, a topic that I know it's relatively unknown, but I'm definitely excited for it. And yeah, if I could get Chief Metaverse Officer title in the next 5 years, I would be pretty happy.
Cool. So I see what you're gonna research on over the holidays. As we
Yeah.
have now heard a lot about your story and what got you into crypto, may you tell us your favorite crypto story in 30 seconds by finalizing this sentence? Once upon a time.
Okay, so once upon a time, like back in the early OG Bitcoin days, there's a bar called Room 77 in Berlin, and it's the first. I love how fast I went into this story. It's the first Bitcoin bar. No longer exists anymore, but it's a lot. It's a lot. It's famous for where OGs used to hang out. And I met the if you know Andreas Antonopoulos. And I went up to him, and I was very new in the space, and I went up to him like, "Oh, hey, should if you don't know who Andreas I can't say his last name, and Antelopus is, he's an author of a very successful crypto book. He's like one of the first Bitcoin pioneers or Bitcoin entrepreneurs. And I went up to him saying like, "Hey, should I buy Bitcoin?" And he replied to me, I think Bitcoin was around 5,000 at that point, and he said, like, "No, it's a terrible time to buy." And then I started talking to him about cannabis stocks. And I have no idea. Maybe after a few gin and tonics, I was interested in the topic of cannabis stocks, and he was looking like visibly, okay, I have no idea about this. So I didn't take his advice. I put a lot of, most of my life savings into Bitcoin, which I do not recommend. And yeah, everything worked out. So don't. So my moral of the story is, even the experts don't have it all figured out. So it's your own path, and yeah, we're all on this journey together.
Amazing last words. Thanks a lot for being here with us. Thanks a lot for sharing your block tale.
Thank you.
Everyone, I hope you had a good Christmas time and hear you again in the next year.
Yeah, happy Christmas to you.
Love.